When an older man enters a relationship with a younger woman, the attraction often stems not from his looks or youthful energy, but from something far deeper: his confidence, his experience, and the aura of stability that comes with age. Yet, countless men sabotage themselves before the connection has even begun. Instead of embodying strength and mystery, they fall into predictable traps, overcompensating, showing insecurity, or trying too hard to act younger than they are. This is the great paradox. What draws a younger woman to an older man is exactly what many men abandon the moment they get close to her. The result is not admiration, but silent disappointment. Machiavelli taught that the true loss of power begins not when others attack us, but when we expose our own weaknesses. The same principle applies here. To win respect and desire, an older man must never give away his authority. And that starts with knowing the behaviors he must absolutely avoid. Mistake 1. Showing insecurity. About age, one of the most common and destructive mistakes older men make when dealing with younger women is openly displaying insecurity about their age. Instead of standing in their natural authority, many older men immediately highlight the age gap, as if apologizing for it. They comment on how much older they are, joke about their wrinkles, or constantly remind her of the generational difference. What they fail to realize is that every time they do this, they are unconsciously lowering their own value in her eyes. Attraction, especially across an age gap, is fragile and psychological. A younger woman may be drawn to an older man precisely because he carries a different energy, maturity, confidence, and stability that men her own age lack. Yet, when he undermines himself by pointing out his own age, he reframes the relationship in terms of weakness rather than strength. He turns what could have been an advantage into a liability. This is exactly what Machiavelli warned against. The moment you expose your vulnerabilities, you hand power over to the other side. In reality, the age difference is not the issue. Your relationship to it is. If you treat your age as a burden, she will too. If you wear it with pride, she will view it as part of your strength. Consider how kings, leaders, and great men of history wore their years as a crown, not a curse. Their experience was their weapon, and they never apologized for being seasoned. The same principle applies here. The subtle psychology is this: when a man appears insecure about his age, he is essentially asking the woman for reassurance. He is putting her in the dominant position, requiring her approval, her validation, her comfort. And the moment you seek validation, you lose authority. Women, especially younger ones, instinctively withdraw respect from a man who cannot stand firmly in himself. She may smile politely when you joke about being too old, but beneath the surface, the attraction begins to fade. This is not about pretending to be younger than you are. It is not about hiding your age or trying to compete with her peers on their level. That only makes you look desperate and ridiculous. True power comes from owning your reality without apology. A younger woman doesn't need you to be young. She already has youth herself. What she seeks is the contrast. A man who is calm where others are chaotic, decisive where others are uncertain, and experienced where others are naive. Therefore, the first rule for any older man with a younger woman is simple: never apologize for your age. Never frame yourself as less than because of it. Instead, embody the qualities that come with it: wisdom, composure, and authority. If you make her feel like she is stepping into a world richer and deeper than her own, the age gap transforms from a disadvantage into the very reason she desires you. Mistake 2. Trying too hard to impress. If the first mistake of the older man is insecurity about age, the second is its mirror image, trying desperately to overcompensate. Instead of standing in quiet confidence, he puts on a performance. He brags about his wealth, exaggerates his career, or shows off his possessions as if the woman were an audience to be dazzled. At other times, he may try to dress young, adopt the slang of her generation, or chase the trends that belong to a world that isn't his. The tragedy is that every attempt to impress her only highlights his own fear that he isn't enough as he is. Younger women are not blind. They can sense the difference between authentic authority and insecure display. When an older man tries too hard, what she sees is not confidence but a craving for approval. And the instant he begins seeking her approval, the power dynamic flips. She becomes the judge. He becomes the performer. Instead of leading, he is led by her reaction. Instead of holding frame, he collapses into her gaze. In Machiavelli's language, he has surrendered the throne and reduced himself to a petitioner at her court. True authority never begs for attention. A lion does not need to roar constantly to prove he is a lion. The weight of his presence speaks for itself. Likewise, an older man's value is not in theatrics, but in his natural gravity, his ability to command without forcing, to attract without chasing, to influence without pleading. A man who quietly embodies his achievements, who lets his experience show through calm decisiveness, is infinitely more magnetic than one who lists his accomplishments in desperate detail. Consider this. If you tell her you are successful, she may doubt it. If you casually live it, she will feel it. The moment you brag, you convert strength into insecurity. By contrast, when you carry success lightly, without the need to prove, you radiate the power of someone who knows his worth. That contrast between the calm of experience and the chaos of youth is what younger women find so irresistible. There is also a subtler danger in trying too hard. When you place all your effort into winning her attention, you elevate her above you. She becomes the prize, and you become the chaser. But attraction does not thrive when the roles are reversed. A younger woman is drawn to the older man because he represents a world she wants to enter, not because he desperately fights to enter hers. The moment he abandons that position, she loses respect. Therefore, the rule is clear. Never perform for her approval. Let your actions, your composure, and your silence speak louder than any display. Let her feel the weight of your presence, rather than the noise of your boasting. Machiavelli would remind us that power is maintained by mystery, by restraint, by the ability to withhold. The older man who tries to impress is weak. The one who makes no effort yet still commands her fascination is unshakably strong. Mistake 3. Putting her at the center. Another subtle but devastating mistake older men often make when dating younger women is placing the woman at the center of their world. Out of fear of losing her, they overinvest, showering her with gifts, bending their schedule around hers, and making her comfort their highest priority. At first glance, this might look like generosity or devotion, but underneath, it reveals weakness. Instead of being the axis around which the relationship turns, the older man makes himself orbit her. And once he does, the dynamic collapses. Attraction thrives on polarity. A younger woman is drawn to an older man not because she wants to be worshipped, but because she wants to be led. She wants to feel the stability of someone whose life has weight and direction, someone she can step into alignment with. When an older man abandons that role and starts revolving around her needs, he reverses the natural magnetism. He turns himself into a servant, not a leader. And women rarely respect what they can so easily control. This is why Machiavelli warned that whoever depends most loses power. If you need her approval, her time, or her affection more than she needs yours, you have already surrendered the higher ground. She may enjoy the attention in the short term, but subconsciously she begins to view you as less valuable. The more you chase, the faster she pulls away. The more you give without boundaries, the less she respects the gift. There is a dangerous illusion here. Many men believe that putting her first will secure her loyalty. In reality, it secures the opposite. When you treat her like the center, you communicate that you have no center of your own. Your world exists only if she validates it. And this is suffocating, not attractive. A younger woman may at first feel flattered, but soon she will feel burdened. Burdened by the weight of responsibility for your happiness. The very devotion you think binds her to you is the thing that pushes her away. The antidote is not coldness, but balance. Respect her, yes. Value her, of course. But never at the expense of your own frame. Your mission, your discipline, your direction must remain at the core. A man with a strong center invites her to join his world. A man without one desperately clings to hers, and she can feel the difference immediately. So the rule is clear. Never put her at the center of your life. Instead, let her revolve around the gravity of who you are. When she sees that you are immovable, anchored in your purpose, in your standards, in your authority, she feels the very thing that drew her to you in the first place. Not the gifts, not the attention, not the sacrifice, but the steady presence of a man who does not lose himself for anyone. That is the true source of respect and desire. Mistake 4. Acting like a father. One of the fastest ways for an older man to kill attraction with a younger woman is to slip into the role of a father. Many do this unconsciously. They think that because they are older, they must guide, lecture, and correct. They believe their experience entitles them to teach her how to live, to constantly advise her on what she should or should not do. While it may come from good intentions, the effect is the opposite of attraction. It suffocates her and strips away the spark. A younger woman is not seeking a second parent. She already has one. What draws her to an older man is not paternal authority, but masculine presence. Strength that inspires, not rules that restrict. When an older man turns into a father figure, the dynamic shifts from romance to hierarchy, from passion to discipline, and discipline kills desire. Worse, this fatherly posture often disguises insecurity. The man lectures not because he is in control, but because he feels he is losing control. He senses her youth, her independence, her potential to leave, and tries to cage her with rules. But Machiavelli reminds us, the more you try to control by force, the faster you invite rebellion. What a younger woman resents most is being treated like a child because it denies her agency. Attraction cannot grow in the soil of condescension. This mistake also reveals a misunderstanding of influence. Influence is not about telling people what to do. It is about creating a presence so strong that they naturally align with you. The older man, who acts like a father, relies on authority. The older man who acts like a lover relies on magnetism. One commands obedience, the other invites desire. Which one do you think she came for? There is a subtle but crucial difference between leading and parenting. Leadership is silent. It shows in how you carry yourself, how you handle challenges, how you maintain calm under pressure. Parenting, on the other hand, is loud. It speaks in lectures, criticisms, and constant correction. The first builds admiration. The second builds resentment. So the rule is simple. Never act like her father. Don't lecture. Don't scold. Don't try to mold her into your image. Instead, embody the kind of man she wants to follow without being told. Let your example, not your instructions, set the tone. Show discipline in yourself, not demands on her. When she feels that you are not trying to shrink her into a daughter, but inviting her into the world of a man, attraction deepens. Machiavelli taught that power rests not in commands but in perception. The moment you behave like a father, she perceives you as old, rigid, and unromantic. But when you remain a lover, calm, grounded, and strong, she perceives you as timeless. And timelessness is far more attractive than youth. Mistake 5. Losing mystery and power. Another fatal mistake older men make with younger women is revealing too much, too soon. In their eagerness to build connection, they overshare every detail of their past, their fears, their regrets, even their future plans. What begins as honesty quickly turns into self-exposure, and instead of deepening attraction, it dissolves it. Why? Because mystery is the oxygen of desire. And the moment you give away all your secrets, the fire suffocates. A younger woman is fascinated by an older man, not just for who he is, but for what she cannot quite figure out about him. His depth, his silence, his reserve. All of these create an aura of intrigue. She wonders what he has seen, what he has done, what he knows that she does not. That gap of knowledge, that distance of experience, is precisely what pulls her in. But when he collapses that distance by confessing everything, she stops wondering. And when she stops wondering, she stops desiring. Machiavelli warned that power is sustained not by what you reveal, but by what you conceal. Leaders who expose too much of their inner world invited manipulation and lost authority. The same law applies here. When an older man unloads his weaknesses onto a younger woman, he forces her into the masculine role of comforter, while he slips into the feminine role of the one needing reassurance. The polarity vanishes, and with it, the attraction. This does not mean you should become cold or inhuman. It does not mean you must lie or invent a persona. It means you must understand the art of selective disclosure. Share enough to build trust, but never so much that you dissolve the tension of mystery. A man who reveals pieces slowly, who lets his story unfold with restraint, keeps her captivated. She leans forward, wanting to know more, always guessing, always intrigued. Contrast this with the man who reveals everything. In the first few encounters, he believes he is building intimacy, but in reality, he is draining it. He has nothing left to reveal, no hidden depths, no uncharted territory. The relationship stagnates, not because he lacks value, but because he has surrendered off of the power of uncertainty. Therefore, the rule is clear. Never lose your mystery. Guard your inner world like a kingdom, Let her discover you, layer by layer, never all at once. Make her feel that there is always more to learn, more to uncover, more to chase. When you hold back just enough, you give her the gift of pursuit. And pursuit is the essence of desire. An older man who maintains his mystery becomes timeless. He is not a predictable book that can be skimmed in a day, but a novel that deepens with every chapter. And it is that endless depth, the sense that she has not yet touched the bottom, that keeps her endlessly drawn to him. Mistake 6. Making sexual desire the center. The final and perhaps most humiliating mistake an older man can make with a younger woman is turning the entire interaction into a pursuit of sex. Driven by insecurity or impatience, he reduces himself to a figure of hunger, always hinting, always pushing, always making his interest obvious. What he doesn't realize is that the more he frames himself as desperate for physical intimacy, the more he destroys the very possibility of it. Desire, like power, cannot be begged for. When a younger woman chooses to be with an older man, it is rarely just for physical reasons. She is surrounded by younger men who can offer that. What she seeks is something beyond raw biology. The depth of his presence, the weight of his character, the contrast between his composure and the chaos of her peers. But when he reduces himself to a man obsessed with sex, he loses the one advantage he has, his ability to represent more than mere flesh. Machiavelli wrote that rulers who crave too openly are easily manipulated. The same principle applies here. When a man's desire is naked and uncontrolled, it puts him in the weaker position. The woman sees that he is willing to sacrifice authority for access, and once that dynamic is clear, respect evaporates. She may enjoy the flattery for a moment, but she will never truly admire him, let alone surrender herself to him. There is also a deeper psychological truth. When sex becomes the goal, intimacy disappears. Genuine attraction is not built when one party chases while the other guards. It is built in tension, in polarity, in the magnetic pull of energy. The older man, who does not need sex, who does not chase it, but who embodies a presence that naturally awakens it. He is the one who holds real power. His indifference is not coldness. It is confidence. It says, I do not need to take, because I know it will come. This does not mean celibacy, nor does it mean ignoring desire. It means refusing to let desire control you. A man enslaved to his hunger is no leader, but a man who controls his hunger, who channels it into strength, becomes irresistible. The younger woman does not want a man who lusts after her. She wants a man who makes her lust after him. So the rule is clear. Never make sex the center. Make your presence, your purpose, your energy the center. When she feels that being with you is more than physical, that it is entry into a richer world, one charged with authority and depth, her attraction ignites on its own. The paradox is this. By not chasing sex, you become the man who attracts it most. And that is the essence of timeless masculine power. In the end, the greatest mistake an older man can make with a younger woman is not his age, but the way he carries it. But the way, age itself is neutral. It can either be a crown or a curse. The difference lies in how he presents himself. Insecure, overcompensating, chasing, lecturing, exposing, or lusting will strip him of authority and kill attraction. But when he refuses to apologize for his years, when he holds his frame, maintains mystery, and embodies calm masculine presence, age transforms into an undeniable advantage. As Machiavelli taught, power is lost not when others attack, but when we surrender it ourselves. A younger woman does not seek a father, a servant, or a beggar. She seeks a man who stands firm in himself, who commands respect without demanding it, and who invites desire without chasing it. The older man who masters this truth does not compete with youth. He transcends it